Okay, so this is the vinyl roll. This is the back side. Um, so I usually cut these. There's two wider strips. This is about the width of the impeller base. So I cut it about this wide, and then I taper the edges just to make sure I'm just trying to minimize any additional drag. And then there's a front and end piece. So when you're mounting it, you're going to put these two strips along the side. I'll show you in a second. First, and then you put, it's going to be a lot closer like this. And then you're going to put one here. This is just to prevent water from going, or reduce how much water is going directly into that little opening there. And then on the back end as well. So this is what it looks like on the boat. If I look really closely, you can see, right? There's the front piece. So it's just covering up that little slit there. And again, I kind of taper the edges just to help streamline the water across this. It's really thin, so it's not going to add much anyways, but yeah, so the two long strips goes along the edges here and on this side, and then there's a back piece also. So that keeps it pretty secured. In terms of placement, right? So this is the bottom of the boat. So you can see it's about an inch or so, inch and a half off the edge of the venturi. And then you can see the actual impeller itself lines up. The back edge is close to the end of this. I think the newer Dracos have a smaller venturi, but the hole should be relatively in the same place. So we just look at the end of the front piece. So that's the bottom side. Now if we look inside the canoe now, okay, so this is the inside edge. So you can see I have this taped underneath a big piece. So basically the I just for this maybe cut a longer a wider piece of this just to secure that wire in place. So maybe like what is that, 2-3 inches maybe wide here. And you can see that big piece is just covering this, mainly just to hold it in place. You know, like I said, with electrical tape, you can use any tape you want, but I think this has proven to hold the best. So that's what I kind of use. I just put it on. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfectly flush. And then this blue piece is all the way at the base, and then along the left foot. And you can offset it slightly to the right just so you don't feel it on your left foot. So if you see, right, there's the flatter part that has the screw inserts. Yeah, so I'm actually going to replace this tape. So usually there isn't this hole here, but yeah, so if you have this flat piece just slightly more in the center of where your foot bottoms out, then you won't feel the bump of this higher edge as much. Okay, and then yeah, just kind of tape the wiring back a little bit, and then for this side, I like to have it removable. So these are like the 3M Command Velcro strips. They usually hold pretty well. Most of my boats or the other boat is just in the center. I was doing some experiments, so you can actually just mount it in the center. But these are the Velcro, removable Velcro command strips. And then just a note, so when you're sliding the speed coach on, you just want to make sure that the lanyard doesn't cover these two connections, because then it might not work. Okay, so right, the back side of the speed coach has these metal leads that's going to contact with this, and that's where the impeller signal goes in. Okay, So, well, if it's mounted correctly before you go in the water, I usually have this put on and then make sure it's shows the little propeller. You can set it to impeller mode by going into setup and then input. You just change it from, if it was GPS, you put it to impeller. And then just to test, make sure you installed it correctly before you go in the water. If you placed it all correctly, basically the impeller is going to be directly on the opposite side of this. And then the propeller should be spinning around where this blue plastic piece is. So if you give it a, if you have someone watching the speed coach, and then you have someone blow on the propeller just to, or the impeller just to spin, give it a good spin. It should have some number reading on the speed. Okay. And then in terms of the workout that I set for the 400 meters, what we typically do is, depending on where you launch from, if you're doing some proctored ones, we basically set what I call a calibration run, and I'll send you the GPS for it, but basically we do a straight paddle out in the opposite direction that we're going to be testing. That's to help collect calibration data, and you're not supposed to stop during that paddle. It can be a medium paddle, but it should not be, you shouldn't stop taking strokes, because that's all recorded in this. And then we give 90 seconds to turn the boat around, and then so you once you finish the first segment, you stop and turn around. Usually it takes about 30 seconds to turn, then you have about a minute. Get yourself lined up in the direction of your time trial. As soon as that countdown timer hits 0, you go, and it automatically will switch to the second workout, which is the 400 meters. That's it. All right.